Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pyro's Projects. Today, I'm going to see about getting the main or the front door for the stove cleaned up and tightened down into the body. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, where I left off last week, I've got the raw edge going on here. I'm going to work on getting that cleaned up and tighter to the main body. And then I have to figure out how to close off this piece to the body of the stove, and then get the centerpiece cut out so that I can actually load the wood in. So I'm going to take a few minutes to mark some stuff up here and we'll get it cleaned up. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Obviously, I've got a high spot here, so I need to kind of mark off a line to get rid of these high spots. That way I can tuck it down closer. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to get this all marked up, and I'll take the grinder to it and get it all nice and smoothed out and tight to the body. And then I'll show you what I've got at that point, and we'll start marking things off to seal it and maybe even cut the centerpiece out. All right, so after a couple of tries with cleaning up with the plasma torch first and then with the grinder, this is what I've come up with. I've got a much tighter gap now, all on both, well, on the bottom, and a much better gap on the top side. There's a couple of spaces in here where the gap is a little bit larger. I think I'm just going to fill those in with weld when I get to that point. Like this one here, you can actually see this one pretty good. This gap is pretty decent right here. I'll just fill that in with weld when I get there. So now what I'm going to do is probably get a 5-gallon bucket or something and get up on top and mark the body down in here to fit the inside of this rim and get that cut out. And then I need to figure out how to close this edge to the rim here. That's going to take a little bit of work. I don't know how I'm going to do this yet, but I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is work on getting the hole cut out in the body and try and figure it out from there. This is going to be an interesting trying to figure out how to seal this part, because I don't know, good 2.5-inch gap. I ain't filling that with weld. So I'm going to have to see if maybe what I could do is draw a straight line across this way and do a flat piece of plate from here in. I don't know. We'll give it some more thought as I get everything else marked up, and we'll go from there. Probably have to grab a 5-gallon bucket to get up high enough to see inside of there to mark things on the inside. So I'll get that working and get back with you in a little bit. All right, so here we're at. With that rim sitting upside, you've seen me on the time lapse. I got up at top and marked the inside edges of the rim. I went in maybe about 1/4 of an inch for the top and bottom, which you can just, here's the bottom line right here. And then from the outside of the rim, I went straight across, or tried to get it as straight as I could. And then what I'm just going to go ahead and use flat plate to go from the fire door rim straight into the main body. I think that's going to be the easiest way to go about doing this. I don't know if I can get it so you can actually see. Not really. Yeah, here's the other side. And then this seam right here, I'm going to leave this lip and just cut away this part of the rim, because the fire door rim sits right on this edge. But what like I said, I left 1/4 of an inch on the inside. That way I'll cut on this line and I'll have room to adjust in if I need to. And then this line, I'll go ahead and cut above the line. And if I have to, I can come back and take it back down and make it more clean and level. And then once I get it all cut, like this piece here, because the rim will sit up here, I can bring back and finish welding all the way up to where the firebox or fire door rim will be. So I'm going to set the camera back down, get to cutting this piece out. We'll test fit it, and I'll let you know how it goes. All right, another update. Got the top all cut out, or the front, I guess, where the fire door is actually going to go. I ran into a minor problem with this inside piece for the Dayton rim. I completely and totally forgot about it and ended up having to fight to get that cut apart. It was a lot more difficult than I was anticipating. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can find myself a piece of flat plate that'll fit from this corner to this corner across and stick out a good little ways for that the fire door rim to sit on. I'll start getting everything traced out and put in place to seal up that funny edge. But let me get I'll set the tripod up and I'll lift this up and show you what it looks like in place. Okay, another update. I massively messed up when I started cutting this apart to create the seal for this rim to the body. And I ended up having to go down almost a 1/2 inch to get it level enough that I could seal this plate to the body. So now I'm gonna have to come up with something different to fill in this gap here. But at least I got this level to the body so that I can get it sealed correctly. Now I'll root through all of my miscellaneous stuff and see what I have to fill in this gap out to the corners. Also, I was talking about this gap earlier about trying to fill it in. I think what I'm actually going to do is the chunk of rim that I cut out that is missing right here, I'm going to cut the bead off, put the bead back in, and that'll fill up this hole and the hole on the other side that I have. And it'll be a lot less trying to fill in the gaps with weld where I can fill it in with solid metal. This one down here, actually, I'm going to leave it alone because I have an idea. Once I get everything over here sorted out, I actually have an idea that I might try for here that'll dress it up. Hang on 1 second. What I'm thinking is I got some 1/4 inch round rod. Maybe I could lay it in there and make a nice decorative little something. I don't know what you want to call it, but it'll be a decorative element that'll help fill in the gaps as well as look nice. And I may actually, once I get this plugged in, I think I'm actually going to go around all of the rim and around this way to give it a consistent look all the way around. So let me get something figured out for this gap on each side, and I'll check back in with you in a little while. Okay, so here's what I've come up with. I got this solid plate, got it all leveled and welded in. It's pretty much ready to go. What I'm going to do is take this straight edge, I'm going to mark myself a line from end to end and cut out the middle piece. Then I'll set my fire door rim back up in place. And what I found, I don't know where I put it. I found a piece of, I think it's either 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch by 1/8 inch flat strap. And I'll just do around the edge of the rim from, here coming around, following the rim back in to seal up that 1/2 inch or so gap that I had. So then after that, well, before I actually weld the fire door rim to the body, I've actually got to cut the center section out. Here, let me show you. I got to cut this center section out because this is what is going to be the door. And I also have to fill in these holes since I'm not going to need, well, I don't want open holes in the front. I want this all sealed off. And this center section here is going to be a piece of glass at some point. I've just got to cut the rings to hold the glass in place. And that'll do the front piece. So what I think I'm going to go ahead and do is lift this back, or no, I'm going to cut this centerpiece out. I'll lift that rim back up, put it back in place, and get my straps made to seal the rim to this piece. So once I get the straps made and ready, I'll show you what I've got, and then I'll take it all back apart and prep this for putting the plates in here and cutting this top section off to make the door. I need to figure out how I'm going to hinge the door, but I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. So, all right, so here's what I was talking about with the flat strap. It actually ended up being 1 inch by 1/8 inch thick strap. So what I did is I bent it to match this rim, kind of beveled off the ends. I've got it tacked to the rim, and then I just blew the extra plate off with the plasma cutter. Did that on both sides. So now I'll go ahead and take this rim back off and start getting ready to cut this top piece off and fill in these holes. And we'll go from there. It's actually starting to look like something finally. To be honest, I'm half tempted to go stack it all up in the corner just to see what it'll look like. Maybe I could tack that fire door rim on and go ahead and stack it all and see what it looks like, because curiosity is really killing me. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to tack that top rim once or twice just to get it to stay put. I'll get everything stacked up and I'll show you what it looks like. All right. I stacked them up just to see what I was dealing with. This is the basic idea. We'll go around the side here a little bit so you can see this side. This is what I'm building. This basically is almost the finished product. I still have a lot more work to do, but this is what it's going to look like when it's finished. Like I said before, I still need to plug these holes around the sides, and I need to cut this out to make the door, but this is the end goal. This is what it's going to look like sitting in the corner. I think at this point in the day, I might go ahead and pull the plug and start doing some other chores, and I got to get this video edited, put together, and get it posted. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. All right, everybody, since I've decided to pull the plug for today, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video. I appreciate everybody watching, liking, subscribing. If you have any ideas for other projects, like as soon as I get done with this one, I'm always looking for something to do. So if you got any ideas for comments, please feel free to put it down in the comments below. Not comments. If you have any ideas for other projects, feel free to put them down in the comments below. If I have the stuff available to build it, I'll give it a go. Otherwise, I'm going to finish this one first, and then I will continue on with what needs to be done. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.